The second half of our homework asks us to solve systems using the 3 different methods. So the first method of solving a system is by graphing. And so let's take a look at the equations that we have. Here we have a -8, and y is by itself, so we can use the slope-intercept form. So this is our y-intercept. So let's go ahead and sketch a coordinate plane. So we start with our y-intercept, and we go down 8 spaces. Now in this graph, I've run out of room. See, this is -5 here, -6, -7, so -8, well, it's going to be right about here. And then from there, I'm going to have to follow the slope. Well, this slope is -2. So if I was to write the -2 as a fraction, that'd be -2/1. Typically, I would go down 2 and then write 1 space, but I run out of room that way, so I'm going to go the other way. I'm going to go up 2 and left 1, and I can get on the back onto the graph this way. So up 1, 2, and then over 1 to the left. Up 1, 2, and 1 to the left. And I'll do that a few times until I run out of room. And then from this point, I can go ahead and take a look at the next line. And this line has a y-intercept of -1. So again, this is my y-intercept right here. And so I'm going to start at -1, 1 space down on the y-axis. Then use the slope. Now this slope is a positive slope. So 1 to 3, typically I would go up and then to the right 3 spaces, but that's not getting me to the line. So I need to go the other way. And the other way would be -1 over -3. So down 1, 3 to the left gets me on that line right away. And so from there I need to write out what that point is. That point is 3 spaces to the left. So -3 and 2 spaces down, -2. So that answer would be -3, -2. So the problems you'll see on the test will be similar to this homework problem. You'll have to graph some equations to be able to solve the system, and we'll just use the slope-intercept form to do that. Well, the next type of problem is a substitution problem. Now, I use substitution whenever we have a variable by itself, and here we do. So we're going to take that expression, that in this case x equals, and we're going to substitute it into the other equation's x value. And so when I go ahead and rewrite what I've got 2x, but in place of x, I'm putting 3y plus 3. And then I rewrite everything else, equals 3y. So I go ahead and do some distributive property here, and then I'm multiplying the 2 over this sum. So we go ahead and do that, and we end up with a 6y plus 6 equals 3y. Well, to solve for y, I need to isolate the y. So I do that by bringing y to one side. It doesn't matter which side it goes to. In this case, I'm going to subtract 6y from both sides. And when I do that, I'm left here with a 6 on the left-hand side, and this all equals -3y. Well, one more step to do, and that is to divide by -3. And so when I do that, I get the 3's to cancel and -3's to cancel, those coefficients, and y ends up equaling -2. Well, we're not done yet. We still need to substitute back in. So I'll take that -2 and bring it way up top here and put it back in for y into that top equation and rewrite what I've got. X equals, and then 3 times by y, which is -2, and then plus 3. So you go ahead and do some more work there. X equals -6 plus 3, which ends up equaling -3. So there it is. X is -3, while y is -2. Well, that is using substitution. The last method is elimination. This is what we've been working on the last couple of days. And so here we're trying to eliminate one of these variables by adding the equations together. Now I can't add the equations the way they're at because it doesn't eliminate the x's, it doesn't eliminate the y's. So we have to modify an equation. It's best to modify this top equation, and we can just multiply it by either a -5 to cancel out the y's or a -2 to cancel out the x's. I'm going to go with a -2 just because it's a smaller number, and I'll get smaller numbers after I multiply, rather than multiplying by a -5 in which the numbers will be larger. And so here we end up with a -2x, a -2y, and this all equals -24. And so I go ahead and add these together, and I get these x's to cancel. And so when I do that, that's the whole idea behind elimination, is to cancel out one of the unknowns. And so those are gone now, so I still have a 3y, and it equals 3. And so from that point, we just have to do an opposite operation, and that's to divide by 3 on both sides, leaving us with the value of y at 1. Well, once we've got the value of y, we're going to take that y term and substitute it back into one of the equations. Picking that top one, before we modified it, would be the easiest one. So x plus y equals 12. Well, y is 1. And so I put that 1 in place of y, and then just do one opposite operation. And there it is, x equals 11. So we've got our answer, 11, 1 is the solution. So on your homework tonight, you'll have one of each of the types, one graphing, one substitution, and one elimination problem.